Okay, let's bring you up to speed very quickly. This is what we're talking about, and we'll give you that single page to give you the figures, what they call the basic figures, the basic facts of the Ikeja Hotels PLC. And you see how this company holding 5 hotels, 2 of them listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. This is the its balance sheet, as it were, from a listed company point of view. A Capital Hotel, which is in the hotel group, has a closing price 3.65 at the end of the market yesterday. Total shares 1.54 billion shares, ordinary shares outstanding in the books of Capital Hotel. That is, Nigerians hold 1.54 billion ordinary shares of Capital Hotel. Those shares are worth 5.653 billion naira as at yesterday. If you calculate, do the math between the closing price and the total shares, very simple arithmetic. If you look at the Ikeja Hotel as a company, closing price 1.78 naira on the counters on Thursday. Total shares 2.078 billion ordinary shares. That's what the ORD stands for. That's the total shares in issue if you want to use another market parlance. And the market cap, that is in naira value. That's what market cap means. The total value of that company as a listed one on the exchange, 3.700 billion naira. So a simple math there gives you close to 9.5 billion naira. And that's what the SEC yesterday decided to intervene and save the fortunes of this company. Let's go straight to Abuja Studios to talk to Edward Okolo, who is the head of Financial Standards and Corporate Governance Department at the SEC. Good morning. It's good to have you live to us to bring us up to speed on this. But first, let's start with the background to the decision taken yesterday by the Securities and Exchange Commission. How bad was the situation with this company, Ikeja Hotels PLC, before the SEC's intervention?
Well, the situation was very bad, because when you are talking about Ikeja Hotels, you'll also be looking at the investee companies, which is Capital Hotels and Tourism Board of Nigeria. We did get a petition on corporate governance infractions at Ikeja Hotels, and we also had issues of anomalies in share ownership, which has not been proven, which we would allow the forensic auditors to prove. And we invited the members of the committees of Ikeja Hotels to hear from them. And the feedback we got was very disturbing in terms of the compositions of the committees, their sittings, issues of conflict of interest, issues of related party transactions. And we were told to stop and not to intervene at that time, because the former head of state, President Olusegun Obasanjo, headed a committee, including Mr. Ikeja, to try to resolve the issues of Ikeja Hotels. And they came up with a roadmap, which we did vet, and we made some amendments. But interestingly, the parties took themselves to the EFCC and came up with an arrangement which was forwarded to us. When we looked at the arrangement, we knew that the parties involved, the board of Ikeja Hotels, were divided into different segments. And it will not be possible for you to have an independent person within the board to be the chairman of an interim board. And then our code specifies that you must have an independent director. And these are the core points, the core control sections we need in ensuring that the result we get is true and fair. So what did we do? We looked for a chairman, a person of integrity, a professional who understands the market, to act as the chairman. And we also looked for somebody with an accounting background and a strong understanding of the capital market to be the independent director. And that's why we have Mr. Abacha Bulama. You must agree with me that a chairman for a public company that has a lot of issues like Ikeja Hotels must be somebody who can chart the direction for the board. That means the person must understand corporate governance and the laws prevailing in the market. And then for you to have somebody who will head the audit committee, the person has to be independent also in terms of ownership, in terms of related party transactions, in terms of conflict of interest, that will prevent the person from carrying out his function as an independent director. So we appointed the chairman and the independent director to oversee the forensic audit of Ikeja Hotels for a period of 3 months. Now, other members, as selected at the EFCC, were left intact because they've been there for a period of about 15 years and they know the problems of the company, so they would help the forensic auditors in carrying out their forensic audit. The representative of the Bank of Industry was left intact. The representative of other stakeholders were left intact, but we did make known to the family that our code specifies that you cannot have more than 2 members from one family in the board, because the agreement they had with the EFCC was that they will have 2 nominees each. So we did clarify that you cannot have more than 2 members, but you can have other nominees from the board. The actions we've done is to create a proper corporate governance framework for the company. Because one of the things we found interesting when we had a meeting with the members of the committees and the former CEO was that the CEO was not a member of the board. So we were wondering, how can he implement the decisions of the board if he's not a member of the board? And we also found that the governance committee was weak. The strength of a committee is measured by the strength of the board. If you have a weak board, of course, you're going to have a weak committee. And then we saw issues of related party transactions and conflicts of interest. So we do believe that with the team we have in place, we will help to restore confidence in the markets. We will help to ensure that the framework for proper corporate governance is put in place so that these companies can get back to sound footing.
Mr. Okolo, thank you very much for that very long explanation and taking us down the road how the Ikeja Hotels PLC have traveled so far. But again, as this action is taking place, what they call the regulatory intervention, and now what it means is that yes, you have a board in place, 2 of them from the SEC being nominated. But again, do we have the stock exchange on the same page with you on this? What happens to the shares of these 2 companies within that group, Capital Hotel and Ikeja Hotel PLC? Are they tradable? Is it on technical suspension? Whatever. Bring us up to speed on that.
Yes. Yes, we had communicated this to the stock exchange. The decisions we took were in line with the roadmap we did and communicated to the stock exchange. Because you must have an independent person in all ramifications, in terms of ownership, in terms of the ability to do the job, in terms of experience, to steer this board and to ensure that we have a good outcome on the forensic audit that would be conducted. We needed somebody that will steer confidence, somebody of integrity. So the stock exchange is on the same page with us. We had communicated to them, and it's actually in line with the roadmap we have that was drawn up.
Okay, now the key issue and the problem for Ikeja Hotels PLC is, as far as you've explained and in the news over the last 1 year or 2 years, clearly has to be with the board. In particular, you're talking about a family, that's the Good Hebrews family, which basically, of course, the founders, as it were, of this hospitality company. What role is the EFCC playing right now? Because there are allegations of capital market fraud, stealing, diversion of funds, money laundering. What's the side? On what page is the SEC with the EFCC as far as those part of what you can call allegations of criminal behavior or practices concerned?
Now you have to be careful with that, because this is a public company that has a lot of stakeholders. So you cannot lay allegations until they are proven. That's why we are appointing a forensic auditor of international repute to look at all the issues that had been brought up. And this will form part of the scope of the issues at stake. The EFCC, well, had not informed us of issues involving fraud or financial misappropriation. I think SEC is the best body as the apex regulator of the capital market to deal with these issues, and not the EFCC. That's why we have a forensic auditor to do its work properly and then communicate to us.
I know the SEC looks at the books of the companies listed on the exchange, of course, in times when problems like this do arise, and they do occur from time to time. This company, is it healthy from what you are aware of? Is it a going concern, as it were? If you look at the number of shares in issue for the two of them, Capital Hotel and Ikeja Hotel, is about 9.35 billion naira. That's still a lot of money by today's naira value.
Yes, don't forget that this company has had problems for the past 3 years. There's been court litigations. This company has not been filing quarterly returns, annual returns, and corporate governance returns. So we understand that they've not been able to prepare their financial statements until recently. So what we want to find out is the allegations that are being peddled around. We want to know the impact it has on the company's going concern status. And then we want to rectify the issues that are involved. For a company that has had litigations for over 3 years, a lot of issues will come out. For a company that has had a weak board, you would expect some of these issues, but we cannot speculate anything until we see the outcome of the forensic audit that will be conducted. Then the recommendations will be made public.
Mr. Edward Okolo, Head of Financial Standards and Corporate Governance at the Securities and Exchange Commission, we thank you very much for your time today and bringing us up to speed what the SEC is doing and the thoughts behind that regulatory intervention on Thursday as far as the Ikeja Hotels PS is concerned. Thank you very much, and we do appreciate your time.